Hello and welcome. So I'm going to take a look at the Guardian's Quick Cryptic crossword, and this is being published on Saturday the 21st of June 2025. So yeah, we've hit midsummer already. This is number 64 in the series, and it's been set by Masquerade. So if you haven't seen these before, these are a puzzle specifically aimed to introduce beginners, and this is where I talk through very slowly how I see each of the clues to try and explain why those clues are what they are to beginners. Today we've got, they're limited to 4 clue types. Today we've got anagrams, we've got charades, which is where you take multiple words or synonyms and put them together to make a new word. Double definitions, those can be quite difficult to say the least. And sound likes, now I know people have issues with difficulties with sound likes, so I will go through those and explain the way to figure out what is required, which version of the sound like to put in. So I think there is nothing more for me to say. I'm just going to check I'm recording, which I am, and going to crack on now. Okay, so on and cross, it has replaced the acre. I can see that's hectare, replaced its anagram indicator. So as I looked at that clue, it doesn't have a lot going on in it. Replaced, I was thinking maybe that's an anagram indicator, and then I got to the acre, and I know the acre is an anagram of hectare. And I will say this, that with crosswords, the more you do of them, the more you learn things like that. You just see things you've seen before. 5 cross, 3 letters, golf standard, that's par. Score, father, announced. Yes, okay. So par is the answer, and this is pretty easy actually, because par is PA, and therefore we know that par in golf is a PAR. But if you weren't sure which version to put in, well, the sound like indicator is announced, and father is next to it, so you then convert that to become the golf standard score of par. So whichever answer is not next to the sound like indicator is the one to put in, and that's fine until you get one that's in the middle, but that's a different matter. For the generally, that's the way to look at them. 7 across, agreed. Make up, that 2 words. Well, I mean, it's not quite 2 words, but it's 2 short phrases, agreed and make up, which makes me think that's a double definition. So we're looking for a word that means agreed and a word that means to make up. And my brain can't think what it might be. 8 across, coach is normally train, or many. Again, can't think what double definition is. Skip on to the next one. Just get letters on the board. Bottom, say of a ship. Now this is probably, say is possibly. I don't know if that is a sound like indicator. Bottom, say of a ship. Is the hull? Is the keel? No, not seeing that one either. Right. 11 across. Scandinavian. Well, we've got Finns, Danes, Swedes. 4 letters. Danes and Finns. I think it's double N. To condescend, we hear. Okay, so it's the Dane, isn't it? So to condescend is to Dane, spelled D-E-I-G-N, which therefore means we want the Dane, Scandinavian. So again, condescend here, D-E-G-I-N, is next to the sound like indicator of we hear, so therefore convert it into the Scandinavian. 13. Listen out. So out can be an anagram indicator. I don't think listen out is going to be a sound like indicator, but it might be for Christmas decoration, which is tinsel, which is an anagram of listen. So I kind of thought of a Christmas decoration being tinsel. I then know that that is an anagram. I could see that's an anagram. Listen and out is my anagram indicator. Daughter would be a D. Besides Sheffield's river. I don't know what if Sheffield's got a river. I don't know what it is. Daughter would be a D. The D in Scotland is double E, but I can't see what that would be. Beside would be by. I'm not sure about that. I'm going to put D there. I mean, it might be at the end. It might be the other side of beside something. Sheffield's. I can't see what an abbreviation of Sheffield is. River could be an R. But I think that's double definition, not double def. What we got? We got anagrams. Can't be an. Can't say that's an anagram because there's no three-letter words. It's a charade, daughter, and then beside is a two-letter word like by. I'd have thought. Right. Let's move on, as I say, just keep going through. So 16 crosses, 6 letters. Impede, progress to basket. Well, we've got a lot of we've got a 6-letter word in impede, we've got a 6-letter word in basket. Impede might be an anagram indicator, but progress isn't 6 letters. Impede progress to basket. Not sure about that one either. Okay, 18, 4 letters. Appear at joint reportedly. Now joint reportedly looks like a sound like indicator, so well if we've got a joint, it doesn't have to have 4 letters, but you've got knees, knee, appear, knee, ankle, hip, shoulder, elbow, none of which is sounding like appear to me. Let's go on to this one. Watch, body of water, that's roared. Well, body of water could be a C, which is 3 letters, and watch could be C, sort of. That's roared. Does that sound like indicator? That's roared. It's sort of soundy, involves sounds. I'm not sure about that, but if I were going for it, I'd say a body of water is a C, S-E-A. Now convert that to watch, which is to see. I'm going to check that out with 22 down. So what's this? 22 down. Isaac's son, that's Esau, isn't it? Points to gold. Yeah. Okay, so points are east and south. Gold is AU. Fortunately, I have a bit of general knowledge there, so that probably confirms that it's going to be SEE. I'm not convinced at this moment, but let's go with that. Let's have a look at this again. So 23 across. Drive off composer. Okay. My 5-letter composers instantly thinks of, having seen that word drive, thinks of Verdi, and Verdi is an anagram of drive. Off would be my anagram indicator, so that's the answer, I think. 24 across, Esau, so S, 5 letters. Building grounds, sites. It said lovely to look at. Right, so here we've got an example where the sound like indicator, it said, is in the middle of a clue. And it's not easy to know which version of that to do, other than building grounds is spelt S-I-T-E-S and lovely to look at is S-I-G-H-T-S. Or is it a site? Building grounds, a site. So I'm actually not sure because sound like indicators in the middle. So the best thing to do at this point is take out those letters. Remind yourself that you've got a problem. I think it's actually that lovely to look at. So I think if you read the grammar of read the clue as a clue, I wouldn't always trust this. Building grounds, it said. So building ground is a site. Say that, and that makes it lovely to look at, which is a site. But I'm going to just take out that letter to remind me that I might have an issue there to come back to. And when I look at these two downs, I've got 25 across. Amateur, to set the table, is a double definition, and I know that to set the table is or I'm thinking is to lay the table, and lay is amateur, a word I've only really kind of discovered in crossword land. The definition, but you get lay preachers and things, which is amateurs. So 26, we've got a U with 7 letters. Renault has got a U and 7 letters, I see. Changed, could be an anagram indicator. Gear, what would that be, if that's an anagram of Renault, which is probably all you can do with that clue really. It's not going to sound like indicator. Sorry. Could be double def. Could be a charade, I suppose, but I would think, given the construction, it's going to be Renault. I'm really trying not to use the anagram helper, but I'm going to, because it probably won't help me at all anyway. gear. Gear. I'm assuming gear is looking for something like clothing, as opposed to the gear in a car. Which is what the surface of the clue. Renault changed gear. You think of a Renault car, or you're changing gear, but I think it's to do with clothes. It's neutral, isn't it? Is it neutral? Gear. Neutral. Okay, it is. It is the. It's actually literally the gear of a car. Neutral. Okay, neutral. It is. Right, let's have a look at the downs. We've got some letters here. 5 letters H and D. Treasure from Wandering Tribe is spoken of. Okay, so that's a hoard, isn't it? And with that H and D, I now know that it's going to be the HOARD version. So spoken is your sound like indicator. A tribe of people, wandering tribe could be a horde, as in, I'm going to just put it in here to show you HOR, last. I'm going to do that as an across horde that way. I've messed up this. Right, so yeah, HORDE is the wandering tribe, and then convert it to treasure, which is a horde like that. I think. I'm not quite sure on my spellings of those, but I think that's the way they are. So yeah, even if you know which version is which, if you don't know how to spell them, you're a bit in trouble. Coin, 2 down. Coin, part of regalia. Now my first thought about that clue is part of would be a hidden word indicator, but we haven't got hidden words today. Coin, part of regalia. C and an N. Well, crown is the answer, isn't it? So crown is an old coin, and a part of regalia is the crown, the royal regalia, for example. 3 down. A with 4 letters. Zones, area, live 1. I think, yeah. Live 1 is R is live. We are here, we live here. And 1 I think is A, and a zone is an area, I think. What we've got here, agreed, makeup. Yeah, okay, so that's double definition of atone. So, it's not double definition. Well, agreed is at 1. We are at 1, and makeup is atone. You make up for something, you atone. I assume that's double definition, with the same spelling. Although I don't know if maybe agreed makes it, being at 1 makes it a charade. I'm not sure. I'm not too bothered really. I know it's the answer, or I feel confident it's the answer, should I say. We got 4 and 2. E and I. Stays home for a meal. That'll be eats in, won't it? Pouring tisane. Tisane is an anagram of eats in. Pouring must be an anagram indicator. Eats in. So you can see I'm now beginning, having put some letters in for the ones I do know, be able to get started on some of the ones that, like at 1, I had no idea on. Didn't spend too long. Came back to a tone at 1. Let's have a look at 5 down. P something S. Not like Paris. Who knows? Conference fruits. Well, that's pears. In 2s we hear pears. Okay, so this is a good example of, are we looking for pears or pears? Yeah, because they're both 5 letters. Well, let's look at the clue. We've got the sound like indicator. So next to that is the 2s, which is pears. And now we convert that to the conference fruits, which are pears. 6 down. R saying L. Learn about description of organ. Yeah, I know organ is renal. Learn. Okay, so renal, which is also an anagram of learn, and about is your anagram indicator. This is train, isn't it? Coach. If you coach someone, you train them. All many. I don't understand why that's all many. Train. Is it train? I'm gonna put train and have a quick think to myself in pause mode. Okay, yeah, I do understand now. Yeah, to coach someone is to train them, or you can have the coach. Coaches are part of the train, so if you've got many coaches, then you get a train from that. I think is how that clue is working. I need to have a look at 9 across bottom, say of a ship. That's going to be ass, isn't it? Ah, okay, yes, okay. So ass, your ass is your bottom. So say is being used here to indicate that bottom is the an example of this answer, i.e. the ass. Yeah, now we've got of a ship. What does that mean? Well, A is in the clue, that's the A, and then SS is steamship, and you get SS for ship often in crossword land, so remember that one. It is well worth remembering. Not an easy clue to spot without some bits around it. Let's have a look at 10 down. 10 down. Save the deli. Okay, looking at those letters, I'm thinking store, and yeah, if you save something, you store it away, and the deli, the delicatessen, is a store. So now we've got the River Don. Okay, D for daughter, beside is on, and Sheffield's River is the Don. I'm going to pause while I have a think of an example. Okay, I'm struggling a little bit to think of an example for beside equals on, but you might say Reading is on the N4, is on the M4. Well, it isn't literally on the M4 motorway, it's beside the M4 motorway. And Sheffield's River, as I say, is the Don. Let's have a look at, what's my next down one? Silver makes me think of AG, article for range. Arga is a range article. There's only 3 articles in the really A, an, and the. So remember those. Yep, silver is AG in the periodic table. Arga range is the big cooker. Female sheep sounds like you. Literally, okay, so that's given to us as a sound like, really. So yeah, like you is you. And that's a real gimme, especially when you've got the E there. Purpose of blueprint, that'll be design then, won't it? 15, looking at those letters, DSIN. So yeah, so the purpose, why are you designing it? What's the design behind this? And a blueprint is the design. We've got 16 down, VL, something like naval or novel, I'd have thought. Dirty shack that's near Brighton Lake. Well, lake is an L. Dirty shack is a hovel, isn't it? And Hove is near Brighton. If you think of their football team, Brighton and Hove Albion. So yeah, Hove, hovel. Okay, see if we can get 17. Spoils, so 17, something R, something Y. Spoils tracks can be railway, which is an RY, and joined together. Spoilers to Mar, so yeah, Mar, and then RY for railway, so I think railway tracks. Now that's something that just comes up occasionally in crosswords, on crossword land. Tracks for railway, RY. So this looks like hammer, doesn't it? 16. Impede progress to basket. Oh no. I said it looks like hammer, it turns out to be hamper. So basket is a hamper, and if you impede progress, you hamper people. So we're down to the last 3. I'm feeling like I might actually get through this one today. Up here, knee. Composer, out of glare. Okay, so G and R. Glare's got a G and an R. It's 5 letters. And Edwin Elgar is a composer. So Elgar. And then what we've got over here, iron, so 20 down, iron, say temperament. So actually I'd left that out for sight, and so that suggests that's correct for sight. This one, sorry, iron, say temperament. Yeah, so we've got iron, say is saying this is an example of the answer, and your temperament. Well, I think this is a metal. Although say there maybe is being used as a sound like indicator. Again, metal is temperament is METTLE. So that just leaves this, which I would think is seam. If something appears to be, it seems, and a joint is a seam, which would be SEAM. So there we go. I think it's all done. Let's have a check. Fingers crossed. Okay, got it, all done. Got through it eventually. Wow, I think that was a bit of a toughie. Sound like at one at own is going to trip some people up. Train. I think people may get some of the answers like train, but not be able to understand why they're there. So good reason to come and watch my video. Sound likes hoard, metal, sight. Yeah, that was a little bit tough, I think. Be interested to see what the comments are on that one. Thanks for watching.